Welcome, everybody. This is Carol, the founder of the Sleep Success Academy. And today I have with me Teri Hall, who is a current member of the Better Sleep community. So welcome, Teri. So excited that you're here.
Thank you.
Our intention today is to talk about Teri's experience in the Better Sleep community, how her sleep has improved, what she's learned about herself, and just to kind of give people an idea of what the Better Sleep community can offer when we're struggling with sleep. So Teri, I'd like to start with how did you learn about me? Maybe not even about me, but the program, and what made you want to join the Better Sleep community? What was your sleep before?
What made me want to join was my sleep was really not well at all whatsoever
Mhm.
for the past 3.5 to 4 years. Prior to that, was a good sleeper. I would pride myself on my sleep. And then I had some physical ailments happen, and that got me derailed off my sleep. And the pain was keeping me awake, et cetera, et cetera. I thought after I had my hip replaced, which was the issue, that my sleep would return to normal, but it did not return. The sleep issues continued. And I had known Carol from before, and I thought, you know what? It's time to reach out about this. Was going to reach out prior to when I my surgery, but I thought I was blaming my sleep issues on my pain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so what I'm hearing you say is you believe the root cause of your sleep issues was the pain.
correct.
What would you say the root cause of your sleep issue is today?
The root cause of my sleep issue today is, can I say automatic nervous system?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A dysregulated nervous system.
yeah, a dysregulated nervous system.
Yeah. Because the pain went away. What didn't happen is the re-regulation of your nervous system, and then your mindset
Yes,
kicked in.
yes, correct.
So
Because I was getting upset with myself for not returning to my better sleep. I had really unrealistic expectations as to what should happen once the pain
yeah,
gone.
yeah. Yeah, we talked about that in our last group call, the
Yes.
unrealistic expectations that we have that can be a reason for our lack of sleep. So I have those too. And so in the Better Sleep community, we talk about the three components of better sleep. Always, always, always. I always say you got to look at all three: your emotional well being, which is your emotions and your state of your nervous system, which we touched on already for you. Then our mindset, which is the unrealistic expectation, and then our behaviors, because then our behaviors,
My behaviors were okay.
yeah,
Going to bed on time, not drinking coffee, dark room, no computers, no stimulation, all the regular behaviors that you should be doing for better sleep, but addressing those first without going back to those other two emotions and mindset that you mentioned. Like I said, my
didn't.
personal strong will wasn't going to help me sleep.
No, no. And that's what a lot of people do. They go right after the behaviors because they'll Google, how to sleep better, and they'll say, go to bed on time, do all these things. But if you don't have proper emotional well-being and a positive, empowering mindset, behaviors don't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The behaviors help because that's was
they
my
help.
pattern from a young age. I always had a pretty good sleep routine, but that within itself, if something gets dysregulated in the other two, doesn't cut it.
No. And the question that's popping into my mind right now, because so we've been about 6 or 8 people. So there's 8 registers, but there's like 6 that shows up to the call all the time. Some people, their nervous system is not regulated enough to be able to attend group calls. So they purchase the program understanding they could watch the recordings.
Mhm.
And we're working to get them towards being able to attend the group call when their nervous system has enough regulation, which is cool. But what I found interesting is out of, say, the 6 that shows up, and even the ones that are just watching the recordings, you all have a different event, a different reason that started the sleep issue. But at the root of it all, it's all the emotional well being and the mindset.
Yes.
What has been your experience when other people are sharing about their sleep issues and stuff? What's been your experience?
That's the biggest plus for me is the community within the Better Sleep Academy. Is because as they share and as we tap with it, as we talk about it, as we discuss it, it's so, even though our reasons are different, the similarities are intense, they're there. And as they speak, I learn, and it just works. Been the biggest thing for me about this group is the online calls, the Zoom gatherings, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and we meet twice a week. On Tuesdays, there's a training calls where we meet for about an hour. We kind of go through the material of the week. And then on Thursdays, we practice the tools that we've learned.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, which week was the best for you? What was your biggest learning? Not necessarily the weeks, but what was the biggest learning out of the curriculum that really helped you?
I guess it's confirmation of like things that I've already known. There's a lot. I'm just trying to figure out which one. I've learned a lot. And for me to isolate one
That's
particular,
okay.
I find that difficult because there was a lot of learning. It's a continual learning.
Yeah, so I put you on the spot with one thing, but tell us a few things if you want. Doesn't have to just be one. Like what has been helpful for you to learn through this program?
Okay, it was the tapping process and
Yeah.
tapping with the emotions
Mhm.
and going through that process. Not I go through it by myself, and the resources that you've provided us with. And when we go through it on the group calls too as well, how effective it is at calming my nervous system, at reducing my dysregulation, for most of the time. But I know it's a tool, it's a new tool that as I work it and as I do it, I can see the benefits of it. Doing it on my own, but also more so doing it within the group calls. And then using that resource later because the calls
Yeah.
support it, that I think, because what did I really just go through there? And I can go back, refer to the recording and say, okay, and use it again to help direct my tapping at that time.
Yeah. Always there as a resource. And we learned that in the program as well. Like, what are our resources to help re regulate our nervous system? And these group calls are becoming a resource for others,
Yes,
as well as the private Facebook group. I'm
yes,
noticing that that's becoming a resource. A lot of people will ask questions and then I'll do a little video to answer their question. And I say little, the last one was 17 minutes long. We were talking about boundaries and how boundaries really affect our sleep, and not just sleep boundaries, but boundaries in general in our life. And I know for me, my generation, I have a hard time setting boundaries. I say yes to everything when there are certain things I really don't have the energy for. And now I'm learning to say no. And that can cause a lot of dysregulation at the beginning when you start setting boundaries. So that was a good video that was shared. So tell us a success that you've had so far since you joined the Better
I
Sleep
just want to mention
community.
one other thing, sorry, Teri,
Okay.
is the information that you send out every week is just enough. There might be
Mm,
6 minutes long. I think the longest video was maybe 25, maybe between 20
yeah.
to 25 minutes. So once again, keeping my automatic nervous system calm and regulated, it's not like I'm getting all this information thrown at me. It's 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 packaged in a way that's just enough for me to take in for that week. So that's a good part too, as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I add that. And I can't remember what your last question was. Sorry.
I just, that the question was, what's one of your successes that you've had
Okay.
since the Better Sleep community?
I want to say there's been two successes. One is that I am sleeping better on a scale, I guess, say is I'm sleeping better 4 to 5 nights out of the 7 nights. And that would have been turned around beforehand, the opposite way. And when I don't sleep, I'm not getting so bent out of shape like I used to.
Mhm.
I'm much more gentle with myself and compassionate with myself. But it's also more than just your sleep. Um, it's your day to day, it's your day to day life, when because we said we are meant to get dysregulated. And I have an unrealistic expectation on myself that I should be calm, cool, and collective all the time. When life is not calm, cool, and collective, I'm still dealing um,
Yeah.
with that expectation, but accepting it more with compassion. And not that I didn't know this stuff before, but the Better Sleep community within our small group, yeah, there's a confirmation for us all together.
Yeah. Yeah, and we do have the unrealistic expectation that we should always be calm, that there's a conflict that we should deal with that with a calm voice. And we don't understand that the nervous system is meant to activate and then deactivate, and then activate and deactivate. We do this all day long. Where the sleep gets into trouble is when we activate, we activate, and there's no deactivation,
Yes.
or when we never activate, when we say calm, 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 but we're not actually calm, our nervous system is frozen.
Yeah. Or when we're trying to force our nervous system to do this, and it's not meant to do that. And I always
No,
try to force my nervous system to do this.
that. Yeah. So instead, you're learning to let it go, come
Yeah.
back down, let it go, come back down. Yeah. And some of the practices and the exercises that we do in the Better Sleep community is really to learn and to get every person to understand their nervous system signals.
Yes.
Because something that will dysregulate you will not dysregulate me, and vice versa, because of our past conditioning. So we really bring in that kind of aspect too of understanding, well, that dysregulated me, and of course it would. And this didn't dysregulate me because of course it wouldn't, right? So we're understanding both sides. Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So you're joining us for Better Sleep Community 3.0 that starts in early June.
I am.
Yeah. My thought, what I believe will happen is, so for those who don't know, so we did Better Sleep Community 1.0, which is me creating the program. I'd done it over a period of 6 months so that I could actually be kind to my nervous system, creating the program while still working, with client load, and not wanting to overstress, and really wanting to create content that I believed would be helpful. And like, it takes time to create the PowerPoint slides and do the recordings. Then we came in, so you came in at the end of that.
Mhm.
But what I love that you did is that you didn't try to do the whole program. You were like, I'm going to do from there on, even though you wanted to.
Yeah.
um, and we had talked about that. No, just start where you are. Then you came in and did 2.0, which you did the whole 12 weeks. I took what I had created, divided it in 12 weeks, created those small chunks of content, really follow, in my mind, I'm following, like, so we have to start with learning about nervous system and capacity, and then we go through the three components of better sleep. And now we're just digging into deeper, like, boundaries and that kind of stuff that's like above what we first need for sleep, but still very important information. And then so Better Sleep Community 3.0 will be exactly what 2.0 was. There's a few extra things I've already added in there.
Mhm.
Very conscious that I don't want to overwhelm people either coming in. But my belief is that once you come back and you start again with with 3.0, things are going to shift even quicker for you.
Yes, I understand exactly yes, it will.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic
And
though, because I can see that because my system is already adapting to the learning and
yeah,
regulating itself to the learning. And as it becomes more of my
automatic.
process, yes, automatic. Yeah.
So, like we were talking before the recording, your autonomic nervous system always went to the default of like, oh, something's bad. But your nervous system is actually already switching to
Yes.
automatic, like, oh, this is okay.
Yes.
So that will happen even more.
Yeah. I don't get so bent out of shape when I'm not. I allow it and yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so for people that don't know, Teri doesn't have to pay to come back, because once you purchase the program once, you're in it until you no longer need it. Because I do understand that I'm not giving you a quick fix, but I'm giving you a lasting fix. That's
Yeah.
my intention with this program. So anything else you want to share that you want to let people know before we say goodbye?
I guess if you're second guessing or, should I do this or should I not do this, you know, it's so beneficial. It is so beneficial,
Yeah,
like I said at the beginning, in ways more than just for your sleep. Your sleep definitely benefits. My sleep, definitely benefited. But there's a lot more of a learning happening and an
yeah.
integration happening too as well. So yeah,
Integration. That is, and it's information that we are not taught. Or a lot of it we're taught, but we don't have a place to put it in practice either.
Yeah. Or be in a community with others that are speaking the same language. Like to try to explain this, to your partner or to a friend. There's some, but
Yeah.
within the community, our language is the same. And the
Yeah.
support of that and the knowledge of that is is great. So I
And
thank you.
I, yeah, and I don't know about you, but when I was struggling with sleep and I would share my experience with other people, I always got the answer like, well, just go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
Or like they just couldn't understand that.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people struggling with sleep now. Because I
Yeah,
mentioned, and there's a lot of people, there's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot of reasons why we're dysregulated. So give
yeah,
yourself the space that if you're feeling that way, that it's okay because there's stuff happening. I don't know why we resist doing something about it, but we resist doing something about it.
yeah, we do. And we
I,
talk about that too in the Better Sleep
yeah, I
community.
resisted.
Do
Oh, yeah, we
you
resist.
resist it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now that you took the step, look
Yeah.
at everything that's happening. And I just can't wait, like, say, a year from now when we do another interview with your, things in your life will shift. I know that because my life has totally shifted since I got my sleep under control. I still
Mhm.
have blips, of course,
Yes.
because they're normal. And that's what I want people to have realistic expectation that not a person in this world has 100% good sleep,
Yeah.
but we can function very well on 80% good sleep,
Yes.
especially when on that 20% that we're not having good sleep, we're kind and gentle with ourselves about it.
Yes. Correct.
So for anybody who is ready to join us on the Better Sleep Community 3.0, so go to the description below. There will be a link there where you can actually register to start with us. So the first content will be opened up on June 8th. I think that's a Saturday, so on June 8th. But there's already content there for people to go in, and there's the welcome week. And there's also the first exercise there of like writing down your current sleep story, because it'll be interesting even for the people coming back when they go back to week one and they read what they wrote 12 weeks ago, 13 weeks ago, how different it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to that exercise because it's going to be different and you're probably not going to remember how bad it was until you read it. Because with tapping, it actually rewires the brain and takes away all the emotional part of it. So the story is still there, but there's not a charge. So when we reread it, we're like, well, that wasn't me. And it's called the apex effects, where we forget what it was like, which is so cool. But then that's why we write it down at the beginning so that people can go back and say, oh, yeah, that is true. That is what was happening. So excited for that. And so when people go on that page and they sign up, if you still have any doubt, you can book a consult with me. We'll talk about the program. I'll make sure that it is for you. We do talk a lot about our emotions and stuff, but excited to help anybody be like Teri and sleep well. I remember just one more thing I want to share about you. Remember the day you came in and you said you had slept for 2 nights, a full 8 hours
Yes. Without getting up.
without getting up, and that was new for you,
Yeah. I usually get up to use the washroom, at least
even
once.
when you were sleeping good before,
Yeah.
and you slept 2 full nights without getting up. We were celebrating that day, and we do a lot of celebration too because I think it's so worth it for us to celebrate.
Yeah, we do.
We do. So that's it. Thank you so much, Teri, for
Okay.
taking the time, and I'll see you on our next group call.
Okay. Thanks, Cal.